Good afternoon and salam Malaysia Madani. You're watching Updates at Noon with me, Brendan Lepal. Making the headlines today, no discussion on cabinet reshuffle. Communications and Digital Ministry advised to take action against Telegram. Malaysia remains committed in ensuring the sustainability of the country's Agri Commodities sector. Deputy Prime Minister is also Minister of Plantation and Commodities, Datuk Seri Fadillah Yusof, said these efforts must be publicised to the world in order to combat accusations aimed at the local Agri Commodities sector. Speaking at a luncheon with Malaysian diaspora in Brussels, Belgium, he said, as a producer and trade country, Kuala Lumpur is concerned on the implementation of the European Union Deforestation Regulation (EUDR). As such, Datuk Seri Fadillah hopes that the Malaysian diaspora throughout the world could be ambassadors to promote the right information about Malaysia's agri-commodities products. This is important as Malaysia has always adhered to all good practices as per international standards. Meanwhile, Malaysia and Indonesia mutually agreed to protect the interests of the palm oil sector by strengthening efforts in dealing with the discrimination against palm oil, such as the EUDR implementation.
The UN SDGs remain the utmost priority for Malaysia. We have embarked on sustainability initiatives, including national certification schemes such as the Malaysian Sustainable Palm Oil or MSPO certification scheme, Malaysian Timber Certification Scheme MTCS, and Sustainable Forest Management SMS practices, with a view to facilitating access into the EU single market.
At a media conference after the luncheon, Datuk Seri Fadillah said there has been no discussion on a cabinet reshuffle. Instead, he said the main focus of the cabinet right now was to sustain a strong and stable government.
As far as JPS is concerned, what is more important now is to make sure there's a stability in Malaysia. Because without stability, there's no way we can turn around our economic performance. Investors will not be coming because, number one, there's no clear policy, there's no continuity in terms of government, and so on. So that's why I think most important now is to make sure that we have political stability.
The Communications and Digital Ministry must initiate further action against social media service provider Telegram. Deputy Prime Minister Datuk Seri Dr. Ahmad Zahid Hamidi made the call after Telegram refused to cooperate with the government to figure out a solution regarding cybersecurity issues involving the application.
Pendirian Menteri Perkenaan YB Fahmi Fadil mesti didukung oleh semua pihak, terutama pengguna-pengguna Telegram. Biarpun aplikasi Telegram ini mungkin tidak sebanyak lain-lain aplikasi, tetapi kesan negatif yang wujud dari bahan-bahan yang dipergunakan itu cukup merosakkan. Dan apabila pihak pengendali saluran itu tidak mahu kerjasama dengan menteri atau pegawai-pegawai KKD ataupun MC-MC, maka saya merasakan bahawa langkah-langkah susulan mesti dilakukan kerana negara kita mempunyai sistem.
He said even though there is an agreement or protocol to accommodate all media channels, there must be preventive measures for content spread in the application and not just have them limited to legalities. A ban on the application may be possible if the implications are a threat to national security and well-being of the rakyat. Amendments to the National Film Development Corporation Malaysia Finas Act 1981 and the issue of film industry workers are currently the top priorities for the Communications and Digital Ministry KKD. Its Minister Fahmi Fazil informed that the amendment was still being reviewed by his ministry before being brought to the Cabinet. He said the Act needs to be amended to better suit and adapt to the current needs of the film industry.
Ia sedang dalam penelitian pihak KKD sebelum dibawa kepada saya dan seterusnya kita akan bawa ke Jemaah Menteri. Jadi saya jangka tidak terlalu lama dari sekarang kita boleh bawa ke Jemaah Menteri dan kita akan masuk dalam queue untuk dibawa ke Parlimen.
The minister said this after a town hall session with creative and film industry players at the federal capital last night. Also present was Deputy Communications and Digital Minister Teoni Ching. Other issues raised during the session, which lasted over 3 hours, were entertainment tax, digital content fund, the Finas Act 1981 amendment, minimum wages for film workers, and compulsory screening scheme. On pirated film sales on e-commerce platforms, Fahmi said the matter would be referred to the platforms involved for further action. He said he had received verbal complaints from publishers or filmmakers alleging that their films had been pirated and sold at a very low price on several online business platforms.
Saya akan menghubungi pihak tersebut, platform tersebut untuk mendapatkan kepastian. Adakah perkara ini berlaku dan jika ya, saya minta pihak tersebut untuk mengambil tindakan serta-merta. Dan jika tidak, kita akan melihat peruntukan undang-undang yang ada untuk tindakan susulan.
He said KKD will always focus on defending and protecting intellectual properties of filmmakers as to maintain the deserved respect of their works. It was reported that films, both local and international, have been found to be sold on e-commerce platforms. The films were pirated from the original streaming service before being sold at low prices on these platforms. And still to come, government expects more sick, abandoned housing projects. Stay tuned. Domestic Trade and Cost of Living Minister Datuk Seri Salahuddin Ayub has given an assurance that the sugar supply in the market is adequate. He said the rakyat need not worry even though the production of clear, refined white sugar is continued. Datuk Seri Salahuddin explained that the government had instructed Malaysia Holdings Berhad, MSM, and Central Sugars Refinery Sendirian Berhad, CSR, to continue producing refined white sugar at a set quantity of 42,000 tonnes per month.
Jadi setakat hari yang keempat, kita lancarkan tidak ada sebarang aduan tentang shortage ataupun kekurangan gula. Namun begitu, saya telah mengarahkan penguatkuasa untuk melanjutkan ops manis itu sebulan dengan tujuan dengan pengumuman dua syarikat itu untuk mengeluarkan gula yang boleh dijual dengan harga yang harga pasaran, tidak menjejaskan gula yang bertapis halus dan kasar itu tetap ada di pasaran.
He said the price of refined coarse sugar remains at 2 ringgit 85 cents, while fine granulated sugar costs 2 ringgit and 95 cents. Previously, the government has allowed 2 local sugar companies, MSM and CSR, to produce premium sugar in a bid to tackle supply shortage issues. The task force for sick and abandoned private housing project has identified 110 projects that have been delayed, 435 sick projects and 112 abandoned projects as of 31st March. Deputy Local Government Development KPKT Minister Akmal Nasrullah Muhammad Nasir, however, said the task force will look into solutions to ensure that the number of sick projects be completed and reduced. He said the number of delayed, sick and abandoned private housing projects is expected to increase due to the effects of the Movement Control Order, MCO, which saw development projects halted to curb the spread of COVID-19.
Ada sehingga bulan yang terkini yang kita buat laporan tempoh hari adalah sebanyak 435 projek sakit. Sementara yang terbengkalai ada 112. Tetapi pada masa yang sama, gambaran yang kami terima baru mesyuarat selesai tapi saya belum umumkan, statistik itu mungkin ada berlaku peningkatan lagi.
He said the main focus of the task force is to reduce the number of sick projects by going to the field and helping to find solutions to ensure developers fulfill their responsibilities to complete the projects. The affected buyers are advised to refer to the Department of National Housing for further help. Raja Tan Sri Arsyad Raja Tun Oda has been appointed as Permodalan Nasional Berhad PNB Group Chairman effective the 1st of June. He will be replacing Tun Arifin Zakaria, who retired earlier on 6 May. In a statement, PNB said Tan Sri Raja Arsyad is the chairman of Ikuti Nasional Berhad, Icon Offshore Berhad and Bumi Armada Berhad, and former director of Maxis Berhad and Khazanah Nasional Berhad. He was also the former executive chairman of PricewaterhouseCoopers PwC Malaysia and chairman of the leadership team of PwC Asia 7. During the Asian financial crisis of 1997, Tan Sri Raja Arsyad was appointed chairman of Dana Modal Nasional Berhad, one of these special purpose vehicles set up by the government to manage the crisis. Tan Sri Raja Arsyad is a fellow of the Institute of Chartered Accountants in England and Wales. He is also a member of the Malaysian Institute of Accountants and the Malaysian Institute of Certified Public Accountants, where he served on its council for 24 years, 3 of which as president. China launches mission with first civilian to space station. That and more coming up in the foreign segment. China sent 3 astronauts to its Tiangong space station today, putting a civilian scientist into space for the first time as Beijing pursues plans to send a manned mission to the moon by the end of the decade. The Shenzhou 16 crew took off atop a long March 2F rocket from the Qiuquan Satellite Launch Center in northwest China at 9:30 a.m. local time. Leading the mission is Commander Jin Haipeng on his 4th extraterrestrial trip, as well as engineer Zhu Yangzhu and Beihang University professor Gui Haitao, the first Chinese civilian in space. Beijing said the mission is the first to the Tiangong space station since it entered its application and development stage. Once in orbit, the Shenzhou 16 will dock at the space station's Tianhe core module before the crew meet 3 colleagues from the previous manned Shenzhou 15 flight who have been at the space station for 6 months. They will return to Earth in the coming days. The mission will carry out large-scale in-orbit experiments in the study of novel quantum phenomena, high-precision space-time frequency systems, the verification of general relativity, and the origin of life. North Korea has confirmed it will launch a reconnaissance satellite in June, saying it is needed to monitor military movements of the United States and its partners in real time. In a statement carried by the Korean Central News Agency, Ri Pyong-chol, Vice Chairman of the ruling party's Central Military Commission, denounced joint military exercises by the United States and South Korea as openly showing their reckless ambition for aggression. The official also accused the United States of conducting hostile air espionage activities on the Korean Peninsula and in its vicinity. The exact launch date of the spy satellite has not been specified, but the North has notified Japan of the planned launch between 31st May and 11 June, identifying waters near the Yellow Sea, the East China Sea, and to the east of Luzon Island in the Philippines as warning areas. The plan has prompted Tokyo to put its ballistic missile defenses on alert. Japan Chief Cabinet Secretary Hirokazu Matsuno said the Defense Ministry had issued orders to prepare to destroy North Korean missiles and that preparations were underway to deploy PAC-3 missile units to Okinawa. Israelis started reviving a Flashpoint outpost settlement in the occupied West Bank on Monday, constructing a building at the site, which has drawn international attention. Using a truck, diggers and an earth roller, work got underway to erect a portable building at the northern West Bank site. AFP journalists saw Israeli soldiers guarding around 20 people carrying out construction work at the Homish site, which Israel evacuated nearly 2 decades ago. The latest development comes weeks after the office of Prime Minister Benjamin Netanyahu pledged his government had no plans to reconstruct the site, after a parliamentary vote on the matter sparked ire abroad. Neither the army nor the Defense Ministry commented on their role in Monday's developments at Homish when contacted by AFP. The United States and the wider international community view Israeli settlements built in the Palestinian territories as illegal and a barrier to peace. The European Union last week pressed Israel to cease the policy of settlement expansion and condemned increased settler violence against Palestinians. Over in Senegal, dozens of protesters clashed with police in Dhaka after lawmakers were blocked from visiting the home of a prominent opposition politician on trial for separate charges of rape and libel. Police fired tear gas at groups of demonstrators who built makeshift barricades along one of Dhaka's main highways. It is the latest round of months of unrest triggered by President Macky Sall's refusal to rule out running for a third term in office and by court cases involving a leading rival, Ousmane Sonko, who denies wrongdoing. Police escorted Sonko to his house on Sunday after a caravan of vehicles, including he and some supporters, had planned to enter Dhaka. Sonko has strong support among young people, but his degrading comments last week about a woman who accused him of rape in a massage parlor in 2021 sparked backlash from Senegalese women's group and dozens of well-known figures. Last week, a prosecutor in Sonko's trial requested a 10-year prison sentence. Search and rescue teams working throughout the night rescued an 8th victim from an apartment building that collapsed in Davenport, Iowa, in the United States. The city's mayor and fire chief told media they believe the incident will end without any fatalities. A center section of the 6-story building with 84 apartments and business entities collapsed for unknown reasons on Sunday afternoon, prompting an immediate rescue effort that pulled 7 people from multiple floors of the building, some by fire truck ladder. Another dozen people walked out on their own. With the help of 6 rescue dogs, first responders pulled an 8th person from the building overnight who was being treated at the hospital. The 4 corners of the building remained standing, but a section of the building, a couple of apartments wide, collapsed on one side, leaving support beams dangling from upper floors and a pile of rubble below. City officials said the building had been inspected several times in recent years, both for complaints and routine inspections, but declined to speculate on a cause. Hundreds of climbers and mountaineering community officials joined a rally with celebratory banners in Kathmandu to mark 70 years since the first summit of the Mount Everest by Edmund Hillary and Tenzin Norgay Sherpa on 29 May 1953. According to the Himalayan database, more than 6,000 climbers have climbed the world's highest mountain in the past 7 decades. It remains dangerous, with more than 300 losing their lives in the same period, including 12 this year. Images of Shanghai residents walking on the streets in summer clothes and fanning themselves as they swelter under the early afternoon sun. Shanghai recorded its hottest May data in 100 years on Monday, the city's meteorological service announced, shattering the previous high by a full degree. Hundreds of dead birds mysteriously washed up on a Chilean beach, prompting environmental concerns among locals and authorities. It is unclear what caused the deaths of the approximately 200 birds that washed up along Changa Beach in northern Chile's Coquimbo province. Local authorities have sent samples of the birds to a laboratory in Santiago to determine whether they died of a massive bird flu contagion. And next in sports, Malaysia set 33 goal target for ASEAN Para Games. Stay with us. The national soccer young squad have been drawn together with Indonesia, the gold medal winners of the 2023 SEA Games, in a mission to hunt for their maiden title of the ASEAN Football Federation AFF Under-23 Championship. Now the tournament will take place in Chonburi, Thailand this August. At the draw ceremony yesterday, Malaysia's Harimau Muda, coached by E. Elavarasan, were also drawn with Timor-Leste in Group B. Group A consists of hosts Thailand, Cambodia, Brunei and Myanmar, while Group C is made up of defending champions Vietnam, the Philippines and Laos. The champion of each group, along with the best runner-up, qualify for the semi-finals. Malaysia's best finish in the tournament's history is 4th place at the inaugural edition in 2005. Malaysia's contingent to the ASEAN Para Games 2023 in Phnom Penh, Cambodia from 3rd to 9 June have targeted winning 33 gold, 51 silver and 58 bronze medals. Now the national contingent to the 12th edition of the APG will comprise 144 athletes, with 62 of them, or 43%, making their debut. Paralympic Council of Malaysia, PCM President Datuk Seri Megadi Shariban Zaharuddin said the gold medal targeted is lower compared to their achievement in Solo, Indonesia last year, where they returned home with a 36-20-13 medal haul. This is because 3 of the country's para-champions will not be competing this time. The 3 are Paralympics gold medalists Datuk Muhammad Latif Romli, long jump, Muhammad Zia Zulkifli, shot put, and Chia Liak Ho, para-badminton. However, PCM is confident the contingent would meet the gold medal target.
Kita bagi peluang juga yang lain, atlet baru, and we believe that they also can produce. So that is a chance that we want to give kepada atlet ni.
The Malaysian contingent will compete in 13 out of the 14 sports to be contested in Cambodia, including one demonstration sport, namely esports.
60% of the medal comes from athletics dengan swimming. So insyaAllah lubuk kita adalah swimming dengan atletik juga. Tapi tanpa kita tanpa kita lupakan atlet berpasukan pun juga akan insyaAllah akan boleh membawa medal kepada kita.
Meanwhile, Datuk Seri Megadi Shariman said that the PCM, together with the National Contingent Secretariat and NSC, would ensure the Cambodia-bound athletes are well taken care of. The Malaysian chef de mission CDM to the 2024 Paris Olympics, Dato' Hamidin Muhammad Amin, still believes that men's singles ace Lee Zijia will rise to the occasion at the Quadrennial Games. Dato' Hamidin said Zijia, who is an asset to the national contingent in Paris, deserves to be given more opportunities to regain his rhythm.
Saya sebagai chef de mission masih boleh bersabar. Minggu depan saya ada pertemuan dia lagi. Kerana bagi dia peluang. Kadang-kadang pemain ni punya ada masalah yang perlu diselesaikan. Kita perlu ingat ini aset, kerana bukan senang kita nak gilap aset yang lain tiba-tiba. Aset muda mungkin 5 tahun lagi. Tapi untuk aset ni, we are go for the road to goal for Paris. Ini antara. Tapi sampai satu masa, dia tak boleh buktikan, kita terpaksa buat satu keputusan.
Datuk Seri Hamidin was met at a sponsorship signing ceremony between Milo and the Olympic Council of Malaysia in Kuala Lumpur. In the latest world ranking, Zijia, who crashed out in the second round of the just concluded Malaysia Masters, fell 2 spots to number 10, having reached the world number 2 spot last October. Elaborating, Datuk Seri Hamidin said the national shuttlers must, from now on, reach at least the quarterfinals of any championships they compete to accrue qualifying points for Paris 2024. And in tennis, world number 1 Carlos Alcaraz admitted he felt invincible at times during his straight sets win over Italian qualifier Flavio Cobolli in the French Open first round on Monday. The 20-year-old, the youngest top seed at Roland Garros since Bjorn Borg in 1976, swept to a 6-love, 6-2, 7-5 win over his 159th ranked opponent. And elsewhere, Novak Djokovic started his bid for a men's record 23rd Grand Slam singles title with a straight sets victory over Alexander Kovacevic. Two-time Roland Garros champion Djokovic held off a late rally from his American opponent on court Philippe Chatrier to clinch a 6-3, 6-2, 7-6 victory. Kovacevic, the world number 114, playing in his first Grand Slam match, battled hard but could not put Djokovic under sustained pressure until it was too late. Djokovic eased through the first 2 sets before Kovacevic did break for the first time in the match to level the third set at 3-all, only to drop serve again immediately. Djokovic uncharacteristically stumbled when serving for the match as Kovacevic forced the tiebreak to the delight of the crowd. But the world number 3 quickly regrouped, dominating the breaker before ending Kovacevic's resistance on his first match point with a thumping forehand return. The 36-year-old will face Hungarian Marton Fucsovic in the second round. And in football, Chelsea confirmed the appointment of Mauricio Pochettino as head coach after the former Tottenham Hotspur and Paris Saint-Germain manager signed a 2-year contract with the option of a further year. Argentine Pochettino will take over from interim boss Frank Lampard on 1st July. Pochettino, who favours a high-pressing and attacking style of play, garnered a reputation for fostering young talent and led Southampton to an 8th-place finish in his first full season in England before joining Spurs in 2014. The 51-year-old will be tasked with reviving Chelsea's fortunes. The London club won the Champions League in 2021 but ended this season without any silverware and stumbled towards their worst campaign since 1993-94, despite their new US owners' huge outlay on players. Pochettino is the 3rd permanent Chelsea manager since they sailed in 2022 to a consortium led by LA Dodgers part owner Todd Bowley and backed by Clear Lake Capital, a private equity firm. Chelsea lost 8 of their 11 matches under Lampard, finishing 12th in the standings and without European football for next season after their quarter-final exit from the Champions League. And that ends updates at noon, wrapping up with a recap of our top story. No discussion on cabinet reshuffle. Join us for more by tuning in to Malaysia Tonight, coming up at 8:30 p.m. on saluran Berita RTM. Till then, I'm Brendan Paul. Stay tuned to TV2. Malaysia Madani, Tekad Perpaduan, Penuhi Harapan.